whatever particular niggly, annoying thing that we've got to deal with regard to the character, which we might do with each other. And beyond that, I mean, when we're at work, we actually are very much like we were at work. I was trying to it's quite important because the studio they love the idea that we're married because they can use it. You know, not only the publicity consequences of that, but also they had the gall to tell us this year when I was negotiating, I don't mind saying this, that, oh, no, you can't have that because you're married to our visitor, so you get twice the wage anyway. Now, well, you see, on a level, it's totally true. On a level, I went home and it was like, oh my God, I feel kind of guilty. I guess, yes, that's true. But actually, that totally negates her, individuality or mine, depending on who you are, whatever you're looking at. So if you're, whatever your particular, so I don't have to go on. This is a Star Trek crowd. They know this speak. They know this stuff. So I don't know what I'm talking about. It's happened to me twice now today. Deep Space Nine movie, thank you. You can hear me now? Excellent. The Deep Space Nine movie is possible, but not probably for another 10 or 12 years. I mean, that's how I look at it. If they're going to do 6 TNG movies, and they've done 2, and Jonathan Frakes is going to do the 3rd, I guess, and the 2nd. Yeah. And then it's going to be another 8 years if they're going to do them every 2 years. That is, if they feel like it. They might do them every 3 years. So suddenly it starts to get nuts. And we're getting into the double figures in a big way. So it could be a while before there's a Deep Space Nine movie.
Voyager would be standing in line as well, I suppose.
I don't know, because Voyager is actually more up their street for movies than Deep Space Nine. They actually prefer Voyager to Deep Space Nine. I don't really have a preference one way or the other in that sense. Yeah, you know. There's Coca-Cola and there's water. That was too easy. Too easy. That was way too easy. I can't get away with that. I can't get away with that. Yeah, no. It's more likely that they're going to make a movie before we do. I think, because it's really what they wanted in the first place, and they ended up with Deep Space Nine, this ship, this station, and supposed to a ship, and they wanted a ship, so they'll get their ship and eat it. Yes.
I was wondering if you have done stand-up comedy, or are you just improvising now very nicely? So have you thought about doing stand-up comedy, or just?
No. I've heard that mentioned so many times, but this is the most sympathetic audience you could possibly have. I can literally just pick my nose and it's very well done, those who didn't laugh. Very high cool. It's like, no, you can't just pick your nose. But it's apart from the fact that there's adrenaline, and apart from the fact that I have the language with which to speak with. I mean, because we all speak the same kind of stuff. We know all the references. I can't do that very well. I can't say, well, my wife came by the other day and she slipped in a puddle and it just doesn't work. So I couldn't do stand-up comedy. But this is just talking. This is just talking. After dinner. I thought you had a question. Take my photo. Yeah, I'll get yes. What aspect of British life do I miss? This is the British table here. They've all actually come a hell of a long way. A decent cup of tea. Actually, I've managed to figure out a decent cup of tea. It's very important to Nana to make a decent cup of tea. It has become like an obsession with her. And she now makes an extraordinarily good cup of tea. I mean, we don't get great tea in England. I mean, we drink this stuff called Tetley's. And it doesn't matter what it tastes like. It's just got to be warm and wet, they say. And so suddenly we get to America and everyone's like, they've got to have great tea. It's got to be really good because they're really discerning. But actually, we drink oil. Big, thick, strong stuff to keep builders awake during the day. And but she does make a great cup of tea. I suppose I miss, I don't know if it's English particularly, because LA is such an obscene city to live in. It's a very bizarre place to be. It's sort of like a big area, like a shopping mall. Did you say? Yeah, I don't think it's a cesspool. It has. I mean, there is an extraordinary side to LA. I'll get to that question in a second. But the beautiful thing about LA is really the only place where the city of LA exists are what they call the Hispanic areas. At least that's how from what I can tell in the area that I am in. Because I'm in Los Feliz, which is like an area of Hispanic kind of dominance. And those guys are on the streets, and they're millions, and their kids are all running around, and they're playing radios, and there's color in the shops, and there's market stalls, and all that going on. And that felt like Tooting, where the last place I lived in London, which was all markets and Saturdays and people running around. So I miss that element of London, but I get that in the Hispanic areas. I haven't been to many other areas in LA to know better, but that I know is great about LA. The other thing about England I miss is probably it was just great to have a whole load of friends. I don't have that so much in LA. I mean, I have some very close friends, but they're made through the system. They're made through, I mean, I love them very much, Andy Robinson, but they're like friends you make at school, school friends. But in England, I had loads of friends shattered around from all over the place. It was one of the weirdest things, just getting up and leaving everyone you knew. Is that depressing enough? Just leave it there. I want to ask you a question, because you had your hand up, and I totally went over you.
Getting back to theater and directing and things you might like to do, is there ever any chance, I know you probably like to, but have you ever talked to Andy about doing something at the Matrix?
I have. Have I ever talked to Andy about doing something at the Matrix? Because I was getting back to directing and theatre and all that stuff. I have. The Matrix is a wonderful theatre. They do wonderful plays, but it's not the kind of cast that I love. And I've talked to Andy about this. It's pretty much a predominantly... It's a cast you can do a play about. The play that I wanted to do The Bacchae. And it's a Greek tragedy, for those who don't know it, about a woman who literally tears to pieces her own son. And then has to deal with the consequences. It's kind of horrible, but it's not that so much that it's about all sorts of other things, about fate and there's this huge chorus. And what happens is that Bacchus has come through the world, and a whole group of women have found him impossible to turn down. They have become like obsessed with him, and they have followed him from around the world. And they turn up. And they, I'm not going down that avenue, man. And so you get this huge, what you were talking about, a huge, weird bunch of people, weird mix of everybody on Earth, this theater can't handle that kind of thing. This theater is a Main Street LA theater with 12.5 kids, and they're all the, you know what I mean?
I'm a citizen of Scottsdale.
Yeah, you've seen it many times. The actors are wonderful. You know, there's no denying that, because they get all the awards. But there's no one unusual in that cast. I mean, it's a great-looking suburban cast. You know, there's nice people, and that's not my cup of tea usually. But I talked to Andy about that, so he won't mind me saying. And I don't think it's his anymore. I mean, he might do more plays there, but he wants a more kind of rich and odd mess. Yes.
Well, I was wondering when I read on the internet that you're no longer sending out autographs.
Mm-hmm.
That go to the studio, and it was some kind of security thing. Did something in particular happen? Or?
There was a. I'm no longer, yeah, because I mean, although I'm ashamed to say it on some level, I'm no longer replying to the mail that I get at the studio. And one of the reasons is, and I felt it was important to let everybody know, because at the end of I know that some other actors don't, and it's their total prerogative not to do that. But it's boring not to tell everybody because they don't know that, and they keep sending this stuff. But I found, apart from anything else, I would be sent, the security stuff I'll talk about, but one of the things that was most inconvenient was I'd be sent a lot of very valuable photographs by a lot of people. And they would have some 8 signatures on them, and it would be missing mine and maybe someone else's. And they'd collected all these signatures at conventions, and they would be delivered to me, and the responsibility of having to send all these photographs back to all the right people with the right signature and not have it to, and this $600 photograph. And then people would send cash, which is also really annoying, through the post. And at the end, that's a kind of sick area. You don't want to get into being sent cash by people. And also dealers, under lots of different names, just send hundreds and hundreds of photos. So I get 5 really genuine people who actually have a problem. And I have 50 bogus people who may have cancer, whose child may be doing this, who may be da-da-da-da-da. But their handwriting is always really similar. Or, even worse, they use the same font exactly on the same kind of paper at their computer. And you know, because those computer things, they have all that stuff. And I just went, I'm not going to do anymore. I have a great fan club, a huge fan club. And people can, I think it's quite a good deal if they can get all these photos and access and everything else through that fan club if they really want them. But the kind of spec stuff, dealers wouldn't be seen dead in my fan club. You know, it just is not going to be worth their while. So that's the reason. There is other reasons too, and some private and weird reasons. But I might as well just say that's the best reason that I should give. So I'll give everybody here photographs, and I'll go to conventions and I'll do 2,000, or whatever it is they want. But post, nah, no more. End of story. Yeah.
How pleased or displeased were you with the direction your character has taken with the genetic enhancements?
How pleased or displeased was I with the genetic enhancement direction that my character has taken? I actually quite enjoyed it. I quite enjoyed it because it gives him an opportunity to start again with something else. Because he can say, my whole life's been a lie, and this is really Bashir. And I quite enjoyed that because for an actor, it's great to be able to just like go, oh, it's like getting another job. And, another character altogether. They didn't quite do that, but they're starting to do something with it. So I really like it. I've got my way of dealing with it, with the fact that he is genetically enhanced, and I'm just being very careful not to play him too Spocky or too. But it's very easy to do because that's what they actually want. That's what they mean. They need a Tuvok or a Spock, or there is a whole long list, a Data, and. It would be like, well, Bashir's been kind of unpopular. Let's make him Data. Now everybody's going to like him. And it's a very naive way to deal with it. But and so I guess I'm just going to deal with it as Bashir would deal with it. So he's not going to change very much. He's just going to be open about his just going to be arrogant and open and impossible to deal with because he knows best about everything. I'm going to answer your question, but then I've got to go and answer some. You ask a question in the line when we sign photos. Yeah.
Do you think that the writers, because you were saying the studio was so thrilled when you two got together, do you think the writers have let that affect the way they've written scripts at all?
Oh, there've been some small in-house jokes, with regard to there's been little baby comments and stuff, and it's your fault. They've been they enjoy that mischievously, but they haven't been very. They're very cool. In fact, the producers and Nana and I get on really well. And we actually do see each other off set and go to dinner and stuff at each other's houses. So, I don't think it's been really a major problem. Thank you.